Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our webcast this evening. My name's Brian Murray, the Director of Travel here at AAA, and really thank you for spending some time with us this evening. I'm really excited as we're starting to return to travel and talk about all these opportunities that are before us. So we have a great program planned with Viking, ocean cruises and expedition cruising. But before we get started, I want to let you all know you're in listen-only mode. If you do have questions, please feel free to type them in the question panel, and we'll entertain questions at the end of the broadcast. Additionally, as a thank you for attending this evening, in addition to any of the offers that are being and specials that are being offered during the presentation, we are offering $100 off on any new booking with Viking Ocean or river cruising if booked by the end of May. So we have that to look forward to as well. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Lauren Green, our Business Development Manager with Viking. And Lauren, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure. Beautiful day here in the Boston area. So hopefully it's nice weather where you are. Thank you, AAA, for putting this on. I'm so excited to talk about our ocean cruises and also our expedition cruises. So a lot of really exciting information today. I hope you are ready to go. Before I jump into all the exciting parts, I just wanted to mention your AAA member benefit. So I want you to keep this in the front of your mind during the presentation while we're talking about different destinations. And if you book a Viking cruise that's 8 to 11 days, you will receive $100 per person shipboard credit. And if you book a Viking cruise that's 12 days or longer, you will receive $200 per person shipboard credit. So keep that in your mind when we're talking about different destinations, different itineraries, and hopefully that gives you some sort of excitement into what we're discussing today. I am actually going to turn off my webcam because I can be very distracting with all of my hand motions. So we're going to jump right in here. And let's get into the world of Viking. So after leading the river cruise industry for over 2 decades, we reinvented ocean cruising, and that's mainly what I'm going to talk about today. But we travel all over the globe. We go 7 continents, 95 countries, 403 ports of call, 5 oceans, 20 rivers, and 5 Great Lakes. So hopefully you got all that. But we're very busy. We have quite a large fleet, and it's continuously growing, and it's something that we absolutely love to go to destinations that maybe you've never even heard of before or traveled to before. With Viking, we believe that travel should be more than just a trip. It should be a doorway to cultural insight and personal enrichment. And of course, we believe the best way to immerse yourself in new cultures is to explore the world. So we've carefully curated our itineraries to be culturally enriching and destination focused. Our philosophy, no matter where you're cruising with us, whether it's river, ocean, expedition, the Mississippi River, whatever it may be, we do not waver on our philosophy. We are not trying to be everything to everyone. We really focus on English-speaking, mature people with curious minds and interest in history, culture, and geography. We're very destination-oriented. We want to get you as close as possible to those iconic cities and quaint towns all over the world. And we have really thoughtfully engineered our ships to have all the amenities of a fine hotel, and it's a great way to explore new destinations in comfort. So our staff is really the best in the industry because they are treated like family with Viking and in turn treat you like family. And I think that's our #1 feedback, positive feedback, I would say, from our guests that sail with us year in and year out, is that our staff is really the best and make their trip one to remember forever. We like to say that we can tell you who we are by what we are not. So we do not have any casinos on board, no children under the age of 18, no photographers or art auctions. We really want to make sure that you are out in the destinations, in the ports of calls that we're traveling to, you know, purchasing art or photography from the locals there and those local towns, ones that remind you of that trip, of that destination, and really bring something to life inside of you. We do not charge for beer and wine with lunch and dinner. On our ocean ships, we have alternative restaurants. There's no charge for those. You get free Wi-Fi. On our ocean ships, we also have a self-service laundrette, and there's no charge. You are welcome to use it as much as you'd like. There's no entrance fee for the spa, one of my favorite aspects. And no formal nights, no butlers, no white gloves, no nickel and diming. So what we do include, just to be clear, is we have one shore excursion in each port of call. We have all onboard meals that are included in your cruise. Your choice of multiple dining venues and times. Wine, beer, and soft drinks are included with onboard lunch and dinner, and specialty coffees and teas are available 24/7. We also have bottled water that's refreshed daily, free Wi-Fi. If you do an overnight stay with us with your cruise tour, or maybe a pre and post extension that you've added on, we have all first class hotels that you'll be staying in-room infotainment, and then all port charges and government taxes are included in your price. So what you see is what you get, and anything else on top of that is just what you're choosing to add on for yourself and for your trip. With Viking, we have a culture curriculum that we like to bring local history and culture to life. So we do that in a few different ways. The first are our Viking Lectures. So our resident historians deliver high-level historic and cultural education specific to your journey. They offer invaluable insight into the rich history of the destinations. We complement our onshore experiences with our onboard lecture program, and it's really designed to shed light on the destination's art, architecture, music, geopolitics, the natural world, and more. They are hosted by a wide range of experts, from authors and archaeologists to former diplomats and news correspondents, and they're all really eager to share the knowledge with you and provide that information, bringing everything to life. Edvard Munch is a famous Norwegian painter of the late 19th century, early 20th century. You might recognize him by this piece, The Scream. So we have what's something called the Munch Moments, which brings the magic of this master artiste on board with a daily interactive event that showcases several pieces of his great art. And when we're not showing Munch in our grand atrium, you can relax and enjoy our resident musicians performing classical compositions. Our destination movies provide a vivid window to the world, especially when their settings shine through as a main character. So we've got our short film series and ones that are produced by Viking. We also have TED Talks. So with our shows, we actually show BBC programming and TED Talks hourly in our theater and in your room TV, which are focused on history, geography, science, longevity, and more. One of my favorite aspects of bringing that culture curriculum to life is the Viking Way of our behind the scenes insights. So while we include the expected and iconic, such as visits to renowned museums and notable landmarks, we also go beyond by offering our local life, working world, and privileged access experiences. And this really opens doors to places that are, otherwise difficult to visit. So Viking provides fascinating insights into local life during excursions that reveal the rhythms of daily living in your destination. So maybe you'll visit a Russian home in the quaint town of Euclid, taste your way through a culinary tour of Budapest, meet some winsome children at Nubian elementary school in Egypt, and so on. It's really an ideal way to experience a place like a local, and that's what we want. We want you to experience where you're traveling to as if you are a local there. Glimpsing the world at work really helps you tap into its passions, and our working world excursions do just that. So this photo you see here is of Campo Pepper Farm, and this is where you'll visit an organic pepper farm to learn about the region's celebrated industry, and then explore the colonial area of Campo. So this is just one example of an experience that you would get in the working world. So you might stop at a pepper farm, a local organic farm, where you learn about the production methods, the different types of pepper, and the farm's interesting history. So everywhere we travel in the world, we have different excursions similar to this, where you're really visualizing the working world and what makes that town or that economy move and groove. Privilege access. This is my absolute favorite. So Vikings privilege access experiences opening doors to places otherwise quite difficult to visit. So we have arranged exclusive entry for Viking guests to cultural treasures all around the world. You'll visit seldom seen collections with before and after hours, access to world-class museums. You'll be a special guest at private homes and palaces that are not open to just anyone. You might attend cultural performances of folklore, ballet, and opera to really get an insider's view during these private tours. And a lot of these experiences are because our owner, Torstein Hagen, has a lot of personal relationships with areas all over the world. And so they allow our guests, again, bringing in that family world, to come into their spaces and to maybe their homes or their museums, whatever it may be, and experience something that no other person traveling gets. We also have the kitchen table experience. So this is where you will immerse yourself in local culture and cuisine as our executive chef leads you on an interactive culinary adventure. So as you experience firsthand how our world-class culinary staff brings distinct local flavors from the town to your taste buds, you'll travel with them through the local markets. They'll teach you, different cooking techniques, planting techniques, how you utilize certain ingredients, and it's a really unforgettable, one-of-a-kind opportunity to shop, cook, and eat with the masters on board. So Viking has, for the last 5 consecutive years, been named the #1 ocean cruise line in Travel and Leisure's World Best Awards. So thank you so much if you voted for us. It's been really exciting, and we work really hard to ensure that our ocean cruise lines are the best of the best, and that also includes river as well and expedition. But we were really excited to be named #1 ocean cruise line. Being relatively new, starting back in 2015, it really was a pleasure. So thank you for that. This is our Viking ocean ship. So any destination I talk about today, you can visualize yourself on this beautiful ocean ship with 930 guests. It's a very elegant, intimate style. It's thoughtfully designed by experienced nautical architects and designers to help you really connect with your destination every way. If you have traveled with us on our river ships, then you'll probably notice a lot of similar items on our ocean ships, and that's because we like to keep it as similar as you possibly can get. So we have our Aquavie Terrace, we have the World Cafe, the restaurant, we'll have all balcony staterooms, your retractable dome on the main pool, and so on. Our dining is really the best at sea. There's 8 different dining options that you can choose from, no additional charge for any of them. And our ocean vessels really put the spotlight on fine dining, specifically in the restaurant. That's our main dining space. And this really serves a wide selection of culinary options. You can also go to the chef's table or Manfredi's, which is a fan favorite, and experience some regional cuisine, specialty dishes. Plus, we offer the most alfresco dining at sea. And a little insider tip, the Mamson's Norwegian Deli, incredible breakfast waffles. So definitely check that out when you travel with us. When you enter onto the ship, you'll enter right here into this 3-deck atrium, and this is the kind of the heart of the ship, where live music will permeate through the ship right from this piano here. The living room on the right and left side that you see, this is a great space for guests to hang out before or after dinner maybe, have a cocktail or a cup of coffee, some snacks. There's always literature and reading options throughout the entire ship, and you'll see kind of in the back areas, there's libraries, and they will always have local literature on where you're traveling to, so you really can be immersed in the destination. Our Explorer's Lounge is a really special place. I love this photo because this really gives you an idea of the detail that our chairman has put onto our ship. So you'll notice the floor to ceiling windows and how it goes up into the ceiling as well. This goes from deck 2 to deck 3. But what I love about this is the staircase. As you're walking up or down that staircase, it's all glass on the side. So you, at any point that you're on the ship, even going up from one deck to the next, you have the opportunity to be looking outside. And that's really what the philosophy is. They want you to be constantly looking on the outside, visualizing what's out there, and bringing the destination as an all-encompassing experience. Our winter garden is a very beautiful, serene space. This is where we do tea time. So at 3 p.m. every day, we have tea time. And even guests who have never had tea or don't like tea, they still go for the presentation because it's absolutely outstanding. So I highly recommend. And this winter garden opens up into our pool with a retractable roof. And on one side, there's a bar. On the other side, there's a grill. And in the evening, we will have movies poolside. Maybe some singers and some entertainment there as well. For our stateroom options, we have, this is a deluxe veranda, which is, one of our better options. And this is a smallest one, 270 square feet, but all staterooms have balconies on our ocean ships, and they come with a fridge, safes, flat screen TV. You will have 110 to 220 plugs, so you do not need to bring a converter no matter where you are. All bathroom products are available, a hair dryer, and the best part about it is a heated bathroom floor. So they've really thought of it all. Details, details, details. If you don't remember anything else from this presentation, remember that. And so our staterooms have a pretty wide range. They go all the way up to the Explorer Suite, which is spectacular. But you will have all those amenities included no matter what. Okay, so now we're moving into the fun stuff. This is our Ocean Cruises voyage highlights. I have a ton of itineraries to talk about today, but the main thing that I wanted to discuss was the excitement that we are officially returning to service in June, which is very soon. I can't even believe it. And we will be beginning in two different areas, Bermuda and Iceland. And then we also announced that we will be traveling in and out of Malta. So I'm going to discuss those, and then we'll go into some of our 2022-2023 itineraries that are available for you. If I don't talk about a destination that you are interested in today, be sure to discuss with your AAA travel advisor. They are here to help you and have all the resources for you so they can discuss with you what the best vacation would be for you. So just starting out, we have our Bermuda Escape. This will be departing beginning in June throughout the summer. It's an 8-day, 3-guided tour, round trip Hamilton, which is really the capital of Bermuda. And it'll sail June, July, and August. Here's a beautiful, nice photo for you, for those of you that are visual. You will start in Hamilton, head over to St. George's, and then into King's Wharf and back into Hamilton. For any of you that are some nature lovers, there is a really wonderful glass bottom boat tour, and this will give you the opportunity to experience Bermuda's beautiful bays. They have the pristine, sparkling pink sand beaches, all on a glass bottom boat. You can relax, enjoy the scenery, all the underwater terrain, and if you're lucky, you may even see a sea turtle as it passes through the seagrass beds. If you've ever seen a sea turtle, just as you're snorkeling or in the wild, it's a really, really wonderful moment. This, I have not had the opportunity to do it, so I hope that one of you gets to do this, and so you can report back and tell me how it went, but this looks incredible. This is the Crystal Cave in St. George's. You can actually descend into this cave, walk along this pontoon bridge. The water is crystal clear. Oh, well, no pun intended, where you can look down and actually in 2011, divers discovered an amphitheater below water. So you might be able to see that, but it's multiple different types of formations of crystals surrounding you. And I've heard this is a really spectacular delight. So please, somebody do it and report back and tell me how it is until I can get there. And then in King's Wharf, you will have a sightseeing tour where you'll discover the highlights of the Royal Naval Dockyard. You will be on this beautiful, cute little trolley bus here. You'll learn all about the history of the fortifications. You'll see the clock tower, the old warehouses, and the commissioner's house that was once a prominent symbol of the British imperial power. And you'll ride through Somerset Village, maybe past Mangrove Bay. And throughout the tour, you'll hear really colorful anecdotes and fascinating stories of the dockyard's past and present. Maybe go to a local brewery there, which I highly recommend. The beer is really delicious. Next, we have Iceland's natural beauty. For this itinerary, if you are interested in it, I would book now. It has sold out so quickly. Our June and July itineraries were announced and sold out in 3 days. And then now we're already filling up quite quickly for the remainder of the summer. So if this is something you're interested in, you want to call your AAA travel advisor first thing tomorrow and get yourself booked on it, because space is quite limited and will go relatively quickly. It's a spectacular itinerary. It's round trip Reykjavik. You'll get your first night in Reykjavik, so you'll have an overnight, and you'll travel through a circumnavigation around Iceland. We will have July, August, and one departure date in September, just to give you a heads up. While you are in Reykjavik, maybe you can take advantage of whale watching. This is the whale watching capital of Northern Europe. About 42% of the world's known whale species call these waters home. So throughout the sightings, you know, it can never be guaranteed that you'll see a whale. We can't whistle for them, but you have a pretty high chance of spotting some of the most beautiful creatures on the planet. If you want to maybe adventure outside the city, you can take in the country's breathtaking natural beauty, from towering waterfalls and soaring mountains to the blue thermal springs, which are pictured here, the famous Blue Lagoon. The city is surrounded by a majestic mountain range, so definitely take the opportunity to get out and explore, you know, maybe a bucket list item, check that off for the Blue Lagoon. We will head into Isafjordur, and this is a really wonderful town. Something for those more active guests on here, you might choose the scenic kayaking tour. They say that the photos of this and stories don't do it justice. The calm waters and the surrounding terrain is something that you really don't believe it until you see it. It's absolutely stunning. So maybe some of you who are a little bit more active can take this kayaking tour, and make sure you bring your cameras or GoPros, whatever you have, because it's a once in a lifetime experience. We will head into Akureyri, which is Iceland's second largest city and known for its colorful architecture. You'll have a panoramic sightseeing tour included, and you will pass by one of the city's most beloved landmarks, this beautiful church that you see here. It actually houses many interesting artifacts, including a stained glass window above the altar that was part of a set in England's Coventry Cathedral before being brought to Akureyri for safekeeping during World War II. And also, please do not judge me on the pronunciations of these towns. They are challenging at best. Next, we will head into Seyðisfjörður, which is a tiny town that boasts a really thriving scene of local arts. So if you wish, you may follow this tranquil path from the town center along the banks of the river. You'll also be on a sightseeing tour to the nearby village. You'll learn all about the World War II history at the informative Icelandic Wartime Museum. And this area was once home to Iceland's second largest Allied base during World War II. So a lot of history, a lot of great information there. Day 6, we'll head into Djúpivorg, which is really famous for the black sand beaches, and it's home to a unique bird life, offers a range of outdoor activities, one of them being a 5.2-mile trail for hiking, walking, nature trips. It is appropriate for all skill levels, so don't worry, you will be able to do it. And the trail offers really scenic views of Iceland's eastern coast, the Norwegian Sea, and the basalt rock columns. The Westman Islands is really a spectacular place, not easy to get to, so we will be sailing to the Westman Islands, and specifically Heimaey. And this is one of the only populated islands throughout the Westman Islands. But what I thought was really cool is that there is an optional shore excursion for you to actually experience this area on horseback. So you can go through the really magnificent landscapes and discover the local beautiful black sand beaches via horseback. There's also walking tours and a little less active opportunities for you as well. I just thought this was a really unique experience. Just recently announced is that we will be traveling from Malta through the Adriatic Jewels, which I'm really excited about. This is going to be a really fascinating journey to witness the rolling landscapes and ancient architectural treasures along the Adriatic shores, with visits to Malta, Montenegro, and Croatia. So it's 11 days, 7 guided tours will be included. You will go to 3 different countries. Spectacular. One of them being Montenegro, and then you also have Croatia involved too. So this is beginning to sail this July, and it'll go to October 2nd are the departure dates. It is booking up quite quickly, so it's another one of those that you want to act fast if it's something that you want to travel on this summer. Day one, well, 1 and 2, because you'll be doing an overnight, you can experience Valletta, explore the humble facades of Malta's churches, and view grand palaces that hide extravagant interiors of marble, tapestries, paintings. You'll have a stroll around the city's walls, taking the magnificent bird's eye view over the spectacular Grand Harbor. There will be a guided walking tour of Malta's present-day capital, Valletta, which was founded in the 16th century, and you'll really get to enjoy the cobblestone streets. This is very picturesque area, so make sure you have your cameras ready. Next, you'll head into Kotor, Montenegro. You'll spend the day traversing the medieval streets of this historic town. You'll pass by Venetian walls that were actually constructed in 1420 en route to the Cathedral of St. Tryphon, which was built in 1166. And if you notice, it's going to have a lot of mismatched towers, and this was a result of an earthquake and a budget that was too small to rebuild properly. But you'll have a walking tour. You'll discover all the charms of this medieval city. You'll visit UNESCO World Heritage sites, limestone cliffs, a bay, and you'll go through with your guide through all those cobblestone streets. In Dubrovnik, this is where the city meets the coastline. You will sail to this beautiful 12th century walled city in Croatia. You'll enter the city on foot through the historic Pile Gate, passing the palace. You'll pass the fountainside, the Dominican monastery, and you'll see some Renaissance paintings. You will have a walking tour through Dubrovnik that will take you all through the renowned excursions and really what is famously called paradise on earth. You will get to experience that for yourself. You'll head into Split, Croatia, and this is where you can experience the age of antiquity as you wander through the center of the city that is built around the palace. In this historical corridor, you will notice the results of over 17 centuries of construction, passing pre-Romanesque churches and Gothic chapels. Your journey will include a walking tour of Split, but there are also 9 other optional excursions to choose from. So be sure to ask your travel advisor for more details on those, because some of them you do not want to miss. Specifically, the Krka waterfalls is a really great experience if you can go. Heading into Zadar, you will have a walking tour. It's about 2 hours. And this will give you a really intimate view of a richly historic city. So you'll discover the former capital of Dalmatia by foot. You'll visit 2 of its most revered churches. You'll be at the pier. You'll stroll into magnificent old town, narrow lanes, old red roof stone buildings. It'll lead you to the Cathedral of St. Anastasia, which was completed in the 13th century, and Zadar's finest example of Romanesque architecture. There's a lot to admire here, so you don't want to miss out. And this will all be included in your walking tour. And then, of course, there are optional excursions to add on to these as well. Heading into Sibnik you'll have a promenade, so you'll have a historic city stroll through the area. You'll visit St. James Cathedral, the jewel of the Dalmatian coast. You will meet your knowledgeable local guide, make your way to the center of the old town on foot. You'll see the Church of St. Francis and learn all about the history dating all the way back to 1229 and going through a UNESCO World Heritage site as well. When you visit Gozo, this is the 2nd largest island in Malta's archipelago, and this is the Hangar Harbor with a view of the hilltop, Our Lady of Lourdes Chapel at the top that you see there. It's got a really distinctive Gothic style. You'll have a walking tour through here. You can also take some excursions to enjoy the harbor and the bay and see some of the different areas of this beautiful town. Our other journey that we will have for this summer is Malta and Greek Isles discovery. So this is a really fascinating journey as you immerse yourself into the ancient world, discovering the early empires of the Mediterranean and the Aegean Seas. Greece is one of my favorite destinations on the planet. I absolutely love it. So I'm so excited that we are doing this. And you'll still be round trip Valletta, 11 days. You'll have 6 guided tours included. You will start with an overnight in Valletta and then travel across the sea and head into Greece. This itinerary only has 4 departure dates: July 11th, 31st, August 20th, and September 9th. So again, make sure that you are looking into this now and booking early if you can. But one of the highlights is Kalamata, Greece. You will travel along the stunning coastline, discover all of the ruins and the castles. There's a lot of history that date all the way back to the 13th and 16th century. Yes, Kalamata is where the olives are from. So there are experiences and excursions you can take to go to an olive farm and see all of the way that they create the olives and harvest them and make them and maybe taste some, which are, I could not recommend more. They're so delicious when you get them right from the source. They're amazing. You'll also get to experience Athens, which is like the Greek capital. You get to see Acropolis, the Temple of Zeus, the stadium, learn about the Olympics here. There's so much to see and do. You're going to want to take multiple tours if you can, experience everything. Athens is a really spectacular place. You'll have a panoramic drive passing through all of the areas and main highlights. And then it's also a really great place to just walk and explore and see all of the old ruins. And there's so much history and so many stories here. Our guides are excellent. They will probably inundate you with information, but it's all really exciting. And you'll have plenty of time to explore because the ship will be docked here overnight. So you'll have the following day as well. Oh my goodness, is this not the most dreamy photo? Oh, it just makes you want to jump into that water. But you will get the opportunity to go into Santorini. Oh my goodness, it's like a postcard. I cannot say enough about it. Your included excursion will tender you into the island, to the main port. You'll meet your local guide and you'll actually head up for a scenic drive to the cliffside. You'll have time to explore independently if you want to. And the Greek island village of dreams is what we call this. So you've got the whitewashed houses hugging the hills, the blue domes, the triple bell towers. I mean, it's really just, it's spectacular. This photo does not do it justice. So you will have the opportunity to continue through the tour, visit the island's capital where you can explore the shops, stop at a cafe, and then when you return to the tender pier at your leisure, you can actually board a scenic cable car using the ticket we have provided you and experience it from a higher level, almost like a helicopter view. So it's just amazing. And it's also really wonderful space to just stop and sit and enjoy the scenery and the beautiful blue water and white buildings. You will also get to experience Rhodes, and this is really where you can discover the old town of Rhodes. The island of knights prospered from the wealth brought here from the Holy Land, and you can follow the streets of the knights to the most imposing building in Rhodes, the Palace of the Grand Masters. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You'll tour the fascinating building, which was actually first a castle and then a royal palace later. Or you can opt to visit the charming village of Lindos and walk up the Castle of Knights to view the striking remnants of the temple. In Crete, you'll head to Souda Bay, and this is where you can explore the port since the antiquity because of its natural harbor and location along the Mediterranean trade routes. You can visit the remnants of the Palace of Knossos on your own if you so choose, and the center of the kingdom that was ruled over the island of Crete from approximately 2600 to 1100 BC. Okay, so moving forward into some of our itineraries that we are doing in later 2021 and then also 2022 and 2023. Our first areas are Scandinavian and Northern Europe itineraries, which offer unrivaled diversity. You can cruise the Norwegian fjords, the United Kingdom, trace ancient Viking trade routes, explore glittering cultural capitals with longer port calls, overnight stays, and the midnight sun's extended daylight. One of our most popular itineraries is the Viking Homelands. This is Stockholm to Bergen, 15 days, 11 guided tours, and 8 countries. You will sail the clear waters of Scandinavia and the Baltic on this 15-day cruise. You'll enjoy 3 overnights in cosmopolitan Stockholm, majestic St. Petersburg, and scenic Bergen. You'll also get a chance to explore the charming historic cities of Tallinn, and you can visit Helsinki, Berlin, and Copenhagen. You can witness their breathtaking scenery from your ship as she glides through majestic Norwegian fjords in the legendary homelands of the Vikings. We also have our very popular Into the Midnight Sun, Bergen to London, 15 days, 9 guided tours, 3 countries. You'll cruise deep-cut fjords along the fabled Norwegian coast. You'll sail across the Arctic Circle where the midnight sun shines 24 hours a day. Then you'll follow the path of Vikings from the remote beauty of North Cape to the windswept Shetland and Orkney Islands of Scotland. You'll enjoy an overnight stay in the former League city of Bergen and visit the Scottish capital Edinburgh, where medieval glory mingles with classic beauty. Moving a little farther down, you'll head into the Mediterranean from ancient Rome to Moorish Spain, classical Greece to the Holy Lands. The empires of the Mediterranean left a remarkable historic legacy set amid unmatched beauty. You can admire the turquoise splendor of the Greek Isles, the vineyards of Provence, the lawn of Barcelona, and more. Our trade routes of the Middle Ages really trace medieval routes of commerce during a fascinating 15-day cruise, bookended by enriching overnight stays in Bergen and Barcelona. I highly recommend to do an extended stay, pre or post addition to Barcelona specifically, and also Bergen is a great place, but Barcelona, you really want to spend a few days there if you can. You'll have that overnight and then maybe do 1 or 2 night post or pre. You can do this the other direction too. You'll actually explore 3 of Europe's most picturesque cities, Amsterdam, Bruges, and Paris. You'll also call on England from Portsmouth and Falmouth and admire the neoclassical gems of the wine-making city of Porto. Our Mediterranean Odyssey, Barcelona to Venice, 13 days, 10 guided tours. You'll set course for an unforgettable exploration to some of the Mediterranean's most historic ports, the fabled towns of Tuscany, ancient Rome, and canal-laced Venice. You will have ample time to enjoy Barcelona's easygoing spirit with an overnight stay there. You'll discover the French Riviera seaside pleasures, in Monte Carlo, and you'll also visit Dubrovnik, which we spoke about earlier. As you know, it's a hidden medieval jewel, and you'll get to really experience some of the regional cuisine in this area and some of the gracious hosts that we have as well. I wanted to point out one of the areas, so Corfu, Greece. This is a really adorable is not the right word. It's a really wonderful old town, cobblestone streets, great shopping, beautiful art with the local artists there. But I recommend Glyfada Beach is, I can't really remember, I think it's about 40 minutes from Old Town Corfu where the ships dock. And Glyfada is really beautiful. It's right where the water meets the mountains. And the beach is amazing. It's crystal clear water. It's spectacular. So I highly recommend spending part of the day in Glyfada. You can take a cab over, or you can do a short excursion if you'd like, but you can always just take a cab over to Glyfada, spend some of the day, and then head back and explore through the cobblestone streets in the old town of Corfu because it's amazing. Naples also, if you want to do a little bit more than just explore Naples, you can hop on a ferry that's right outside of where the ships dock. And I want to say it was like €8 per person around there. And it's a ferry that'll take you, just a little boat that'll take you over to Capri. And you can purchase an excursion, do the Blue Grotto, which I recommend, and then experience Capri, head to the top of Capri, and then get back in time for the ship. So just some insider information if you haven't been to either one of those destinations. They're really a lot of fun to explore and do some things outside of the local town. We also have the Empires of the Mediterranean, which is our Venice to Athens 10 days. You've got 9 magnificent destinations on this epic journey. You'll cruise the Adriatic and Aegean, taking in all the riches of this fabled region. On an exploration bookended by iconic Venice and Athens, you can discover the ancient ruins of Olympia and Acropolis here too. In Catacolone, there is the birthplace of the Olympics, so I recommend doing that. It's a really fun experience. You get to, well, I guess if you volunteer, you can run the initial 400-meter dash that was created there, but there's a lot of history of how the Olympics were born, and it's a lot of fun to see the ruins and where that entire, experience began. So that's in Catacolone. In some warmer destinations, for us at least up here in the Northeast, warmer means Caribbean, right, and the Americas. With Viking, you can forget the umbrella drinks, the kiddie pools, the casinos. Instead, you're going to celebrate the diverse cultural heritage, British, Mayan, Spanish, African of the Caribbean. You'll gain a really intimate view through carefully curated itineraries, more time in port, and enriching excursions. So just some examples is we have the West Indies Explorer, which is round trip San Juan, 11 days, 9 guided tours included here. You're already so far south with San Juan. Flying in and out of San Juan is quite simple. So you get to experience some really interesting smaller islands that not many cruise lines can get into. We also have Panama Canal in Central America, which is round trip Miami, a 15-day. You'll have 7 guided tours included. And this will trace the coast of Central America. You'll discover the Panama Canal, all the workings of there. You'll go through all of the, beautiful sand beaches and turquoise waters in Honduras and lush rainforests in Costa Rica. And then, of course, everyone loves Jamaica. It's such a wonderful, vibrant place to visit. We also have the Amazon and Caribbean Adventure, so San Juan to Manaus, 13 days, 8 guided tours. And this is going into Brazil at the end, which is a lot of fun. If you can add a pre or post to here, I would recommend it. And you'll get to experience all of the rich areas, the Amazon River, the old town of Manaus, and striking architecture as well. Here are some of the other itineraries in case I didn't go over something that you would prefer for oceans. These are some other spectacular destinations that we travel to. A really famous one is the Viking Shores and Fjords, which is our 8-day Amsterdam to Bergen. We also have the cities of antiquity and the Holy Land, Athens to Rome, and so many more to choose from. Just didn't have enough time to go over all of them. We also have Asia and Australia. Bangkok, Bali, and beyond is a #1 fan favorite, so I definitely recommend if you want to travel in that area. Bali to Bangkok, spectacular. Cannot say enough about it. And you can always combine the ocean and river voyages as well. So the Rhine with the Viking Shores and Fjords, or maybe the Grand European Tour and Viking Fjords and so forth. So again, talk to your AAA travel advisor about these destinations if you are interested in any of them. Shifting gears a little bit, we have the Viking Expeditions. This is so exciting. First, we mentioned modern river cruising. Then we redefined ocean cruising. Now we're going to experience expeditions the Viking way. So we have the Octantis and the Polaris joining us, which we're so excited about. They are 378 passenger ships, and they were all named after stars. If you couldn't tell, Octantis and Polaris. But these ships are optimally sized for expeditions, so they're small enough to navigate remote areas, yet large enough to provide speed, superior handling, and stability in the roughest seas. Most ships in this region are refurbished survey vessels, which are like older cruise ships with limited amenities. But with Viking, we took a totally different route. We designed our own ship from scratch. We have more indoor and outdoor viewing areas than any other expedition vessel. So we want you as close as possible to the most magnificent scenery really on Earth that you can get. Our public rooms, like the Explorer's Lounge that you see pictured here up right-hand corner, have floor-to-ceiling windows. We have the Aula, which is on the top left in the Finse Terrace. This is a really great terrace that you'll see the auditorium is behind that glass wall. That glass wall actually opens up, so you can go in and out as much as you please. We'll have different lectures there, different presentations in that auditorium. And then our Nordic balcony staterooms. Our staterooms are really spectacular, and the one main thing I wanted to point out was that we actually will have a floor-to-ceiling drying closet that circulates warm air to dry and store your Viking expedition kit and keepsakes. So you'll have your expedition jacket, you'll have your excursion gear, which are like boots, waterproof pants, trekking poles, all of that. You can put it into that floor-to-ceiling drying closet. It'll circulate that warm air, dry everything up, so you don't have to worry about like blow drying it to make sure it's dry after a day of excursions. We will also have our hangar, which is our in-ship marina, which is, I think, an industry first. I've never seen anything like this before. But we will have ribs, kayaks, zodiacs, and 2 yellow submarines. A fun fact is that they made them yellow because Tor Steenhagen, our chairman, loves the Beatles, and so the yellow submarine is what he built, which I love that story. So we'll have 2 of those. And the great part about this inside marina is that you are actually entering your watercraft and disembarking your watercrafts inside. So you're not having to go to the outside of the boat, climbing over anything. It's a very seamless, enjoyable process. You will get on right inside, and then there's a slipway functionality that takes you right out the back of the ship. And when you're done with your excursion, you will return in the same manner. So it just makes it really easy and simple for you. Our 2 main destinations, we will be heading to the largest block of ice on Earth, the Antarctic ice sheet, which contains over 26 million cubic kilometers of ice, an estimated 61% of all the fresh water on the globe. And we will also head into our Arctic adventure. So we will do Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, and then we also have Tromsø to Tromsø round trip. Both are really spectacular 13-day ultimate adventures. They'll take you to the heart of the Antarctic Peninsula, and then you'll also go through the Arctic where you're going to journey near the top of the world, where the horizon is interrupted only by passing ice and rocky isles rising from the sea. It's really a spectacular experience. Aside from that, we will also be doing the Great Lakes, which I'm so excited about. So the expedition ships will actually come over from the polar caps. It'll head into New York City, traverse up from New York City to Toronto, and begin the Great Lake itineraries that you see here. So we have Toronto to Milwaukee, Milwaukee to Thunder Bay, and then Thunder Bay to Milwaukee. You can do multiple itineraries together if you would like. There's 3 different ones, but you can put them all together. And these will include Mackinac Island in every single itinerary. And you will go through the Welland Canal as well as the Sioux Locks Transit. So 2 of the top destinations that people want to travel to. And you're going to be on a beautiful modern expedition ship, going through all of these towns, learning about the history, doing a lot of different experiences on the kayaks, on the zodiacs, going out into Thunder Bay and the Great Lakes. You'll circle Duluth and the islands there, and so forth. So a lot of really great outdoor experiences and learning all about the Great Lakes in this area on a beautiful new ship. And just to close, I did want to talk about our health and safety program. So on our ocean ships, we actually built a PCR laboratory. So we will be doing daily PCR tests. They will be self-administered saliva testing. And that will be done in your stateroom, and you'll hand that to your stateroom steward. That will be happening daily, as well as on our river ships. And a really innovative piece that I like to tell everyone is that on our ocean ships, we actually will have robots that will be traveling around the ship 24/7, sanitizing and cleaning our ships. So I just find that to be a very unique, cool experience. We also have new air purification technology. No staterooms will share air. Everyone will have their own handling units. We'll do additional health checks and all of that. As of right now, through September 30th, we are requiring all guests that are sailing with us to be fully vaccinated to travel from now till September 30th. And we also have our risk-free guarantee, which is expiring on May 31st, so don't forget to book prior to May 31st in order to have this on your reservation. And if you cancel your cruise up to 14 days prior to departure, we will provide you with a future cruise voucher in the amount of all monies paid to Viking. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. And Brian, I'm not sure if you had anything else you wanted to finish with.
Yeah, Lauren, thank you. What a great presentation. My bags are packed and ready to go. So thank you so much for that. We do have some questions that came in. So I will start with a few here. I'm taking a river cruise from Amsterdam to Budapest next year. It will be at the end of April, early May. What is typical for river water height at that time? Now, I know that varies, so that is really kind of a loaded question. However, I'll throw it out for discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a good question. So yeah, we're not sure, you know, with the rivers, with the river water height, it actually has this might not actually help you at all, but just a really cool tidbit. It actually has to do with the mountains, snowfall and melt going down into the water, and that depends on how high or low the river will be. So some years we don't have any issues with it, and some years there's you know, a few sailings that will, but we always have a way to maneuver around it. Sometimes we will dock and have you go out for the day. We'll switch ships and meet you on the other side of the ship if there's low water, high water, anything like that. So only about, I would say, max like 4% of our itineraries are affected by high or low water in one full year. So it's really not something that I would worry about. We have multiple ways that we can combat it and work around it if it is something that happens. But again, I would not be too concerned about it. You should be just fine. And that time of year is a beautiful time of year to be there. It's still nice and cool when you're traveling about and exploring the towns.
Yeah, you do. I mean, we've run into very few of those situations, and you all make it very seamless and really does not really disrupt the journey. So that's great. There are a couple questions about the Great Lakes, which you just covered near the end of the program. So, you know, if folks do have questions on specific itineraries, they're ever changing and evolving. So, but the Great Lakes itineraries are there, so we can talk to a AAA travel consultant and, you know, discuss those further. Question, and I think it just varies depending on the time of the year sailing. Do you sail out of New York City? I can't recollect offhand, Lauren, if you use that as a port of embarkation or not. Probably depending on a unique sailing.
Yeah, it really depends on the unique sailing. Like, for example, this expedition ship that's coming over to New York and then heading up into Toronto, that's like, you know, a one-off situation. We don't, which probably is what you're asking, we don't have like a regularly scheduled itinerary out of New York City, if that's what you're asking. So we will like here and there go in and out of New York, absolutely, to travel elsewhere. But we don't have like one regular scheduled itinerary.
Absolutely. I thought I was going to kind of answer it that way, but I thought I would go.
Oh, you threw it to me. Okay. Yeah.
So do you have cooking demonstrations on board your ships?
No, we do not have cooking demonstrations. We have ways that you can do like open kitchen concept on some of our ships where you can see the chefs making the food or work with the local chef to go out and purchase the ingredients of the day and then come back and work with them on creating the dishes, but we don't have like regularly scheduled cooking demonstrations on board.
Okay.
As of right now. That could
Yeah.
always change, but as of
Hey,
right now, yeah.
absolutely. Change is the operative word, right, Laura? So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I know this is done on some ships as well. Do you offer tours on the operation of the ship or the engine room and so forth? I know some cruise lines do that depending on, different things, but I'm not sure Viking standard with that.
Yeah, we definitely have. Absolutely. I know a lot of people that have done that. They've gone down into the engine and have seen everything. So yeah, I mean, we absolutely do those. I'm not entirely sure how to organize it, so I can find out and let you know, Brian, if you want to follow up with that member, because I'm not exactly sure if you just organize it when you get on board and ask someone, or if that's pre-organization through the travel advisor. So let me find that out, and I will, and we can follow up on that one.
Yeah, terrific. And I know on some itineraries, they may say, Thursday at 10 a.m., we're having a tour of the,
Exactly.
behind the scenes for anyone that's
Yes.
interested. So I think typically that's how it happens, but great. If you have information additional, let me know, and we certainly can get back to that member. And I know, again, probably depending on the itinerary and where, and this is great. I've been on cruises where this happens many times. Do you still have guest historians and lecturers that come on board and give talks? And, I think do on river and ocean as well, alike, but,
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, almost all of our itineraries will have that at some point throughout the voyage. So you can that is guaranteed. We will always have some sort of historian or geologist or naturalist or somebody on board doing some sort of talk or educational aspect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. And one more question came in. And again, I think this is always evolving and can change. It's a specific cruise itinerary. Do you offer cruises that go from the US to Australia? Could be part of a world cruise itinerary, but it's not a standard itinerary per se, I believe. But I'll let you, Lauren, elaborate on my half answer to that.
Yes, I believe, well, leaving from the US, it's probably going to be one of those grand voyages or part of the world cruise. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a specific one that leaves just from the US to Australia, and that's it. So I would definitely connect with your travel advisor on that one, and they can look up to see especially like what year you're looking at, because it'll change per year depending on what's happening in the world. So I would connect with your travel advisor and see if they can pull up any of those itineraries that would leave. Because we definitely do Australia, New Zealand, and we have a lot of itineraries for that. I just don't know of ones that leave specifically from the US to get there.
Yeah, I know. And again, as we're all, emerging from this, there's a lot of great new itineraries that come out, which is really exciting as well. So again, our AAA travel consultants can help with, those itineraries and any additional questions that you have. We're here and want to make the best travel experiences for you. So with that, if we didn't get to your question, give us a call and we can certainly answer those questions for you. But a lot of itineraries around the world, ever evolving. So Lauren, thank you again. We really appreciate it. My bags are packed, I'm ready, and thank you to everyone on board this evening. We appreciate your participation and time with us, and I wish you all a great evening. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.